It's party time. Oh, it's party time. Having a party. Come on. This is just some guy named Jay. And today we have a one-on-one interview with Mr. Theme Music. It's party time. Tracey Lee himself. Tracey Lee had the hit single, The Theme Music, aka It's Party Time, back in the mid-90s, actually 97 to be exact. And a lot of people were wondering, after that single dropped and after the album Many Faces dropped, what's happened with him? What he's been up to? Ever since, and after he left in Universal, the label that he was on, he's been putting out music independently. He's been working as a lawyer, an entertainment attorney. And in this interview, he talks about everything that you guys want to know, what he's been up to, the music that he's been dropping independently. Plus, he talks about some of the things that went on back in the Universal days. And he says a lot of informative things that up-and-coming independent artists should definitely take note of and listen to and get some great advice from. Before we get into the actual interview, I want to give a few shout-outs. I want to give a shout out to Shice DiBiase. Check out his single Twerk. I want to give a shout out to Diamond Royalty, who has 2 new singles dropping September 30th on South Coast Records. I want to give a shout out to Some Kosher Yuppie and One, Consuming Fire Global Ministries, and Robin Lynn's Productions. And all right, let's get into this interview with Tracey Lee. All right, this is just some guy named Jay. And we're in the spot with Tracey Lee. How you doing, Tracey Lee?
I'm good, bro. I'm good, man. No complaints over here. How about yourself, man?
Oh, man. I'm just hanging in there, man. I'm glad to have you on. Glad to be interviewing you. Because your album, your debut album, Many Faces, man, I had that in rotation in 97 back when I copped it. I was back in high school. I loved it. I heard, and what made me want to get it is I heard you on, I think it was Rap City Basement or somewhere you did an interview, and you broke down the concept of the album where you had the different personalities that reflect the different moods of the songs. And after hearing that, I was like, oh, man, I got to check it out. Because I was already feeling the theme music, the single. And then the remix you did with Busta Rhymes, and the rest of the album was just banging, man.
Piggyback off of what you just said, it was like, that was one of the things that, being an MC, I tried myself off of versatility. Not only my first time out, showing the people that I could spit, but then also giving them some insight on who I am. So that's where the whole, Many Faces was developed. It was really just basically is not to say that I'm schizophrenic. Everybody goes through their mood swings. They go through times when the good times or whatever, and you're on cloud nine, and this is when you feel like partying, and you know what I'm saying. So I just tried to give people just the different sides of who I am, through the music, and try to have fun with it by expressing it through, I guess, giving the name, so to speak.
Oh yeah. Now, any of the projects that you released after that, did you experiment with the different moods, or was it just strictly Tracey Lee all the way through the album?
Say it again, I'm sorry.
On the projects that you released after Many Faces, that you released independently, did you still run with the theme of doing the different
Yeah. Because this is crazy, because when I did release Many Faces, a lot of people were let's just say the rest.
A lot of people were what?
Attributed sales that they were trying to achieve. They attributed that to I guess the concept that I was trying to develop it. A straight. Basically, they tried to say that I was all over the place. The public did not gravitate toward it like they would have envisioned, or like they would have gravitated towards it. So after that, and I hate to say it, but it kind of stifled my creativity, and I tried to just wreck. not to say that I, you know what I'm saying, as far as all the projects, but the project that I immediately did right after Many Faces, which was called Live from the 215, which was never released, but still recorded under the Universal. They still have it on the shelf as we speak. But that was more of a direct shot. Like, basically, it was, you know, not so much of the creative aspect of it. And I kind of regret, you know what I'm saying, not being as creative on that particular project that I was on Many Faces, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because, you know, like, I'm glad you said that with the creativity, man. The label stifled your creativity and said that, oh, the people just didn't feel it. I think the people, I think what it was, I mean, this is just, maybe I'm overstepping what I'm saying, but I think maybe the label just didn't know how to market it, you know?
And that's what I really wanted to, like, to put it in a nutshell. That's exactly what I'm talking. Like, because I'll go back even before the Many Faces project even dropped. I think the label did a poor job of basically introducing to the people who Tracey Lee is. You know what I mean? Like, if you didn't get the album, if you didn't pick up the album, then you never knew. You, like, basically, I came out of nowhere. You know what I mean? Like, the first time people had ever heard of me was through the thing. But, you know, I've been with myself for almost 44 years now. I know that I started rhyming way before 1997. I know that I put out records way before 1997, but the public doesn't know that. So that the record company's job at that particular time was to introduce me to the people first, before you got, you know, just so that people can get familiar and people can be more comfortable about going to the record store and buying my records. You know what I mean?
Oh man, if I was working at the label, or if I had some kind of hand in promoting that project, man, everybody would have had it, man. I mean, actually, I was promoting it back there, because when I copped it, I was telling everybody, yo, Tracey Lee, that's that new thing, that's the big thing right there.
That's what's up. That's what's up. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I think I got you some sales, man. You know, but yeah, man. But that's basically what the problem was, because I think they want to have, you know, like the labels want to have this one size fit all kind of promotion strategy, and and you know, you have to, because I do promotional work on a smaller scale with independent artists, you know, and you know, here in the Southeast and stuff, and you can't just, I can't do every client the same way, like you know, it's like everything
doesn't fit in the same box. You know, people, and that's just the human nature of people. You know what I mean? Like, people listen to music differently. People react to other people differently. You don't react to the same thing the same way at the same time. You know, so you always got to keep that, be cognizant of that, especially when you're talking about the arts or when you're talking about music. You know what I mean? It just can't be marketed. Everything can't be marketed the same way. Exactly.
You know, I definitely want to ask you some more stuff about Many Faces, but before we do that, I want to talk about the present and the future right now. You know?
Sure, no problem.
Because you have an album just getting ready to drop in October.
Indeed. The album is called ESQ, The Revelation, and for the listeners out there that don't know what ESQ stands for, it's for Esquire, and basically that's my title now. And I'm sure aspect of where you've been for all this time. Basically, I went, you know, to law school, and I, you know, achieved, or should I say, I graduated with a Juris Doctorate. Now I'm a licensed attorney now. So basically, we took that Esquire title, which is, you know, synonymous with being a lawyer. Tag ESQ, and the revelation is basically things that have been revealed to me over the last 17 years that I've been missing. You know what I mean? And so now it brings us to this point. Now I should share with the world what has been revealed to me. You know? Definitely.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that about you being an attorney, man. Because I think I read that somewhere. Yeah, that you were one. And you put a lot of that in this upcoming album on that's coming in October. Do you talk about a lot of the like law terms and things like that, or your experience as an attorney?
I touch on it. I don't go too in depth and too deep, because I still want the album to be entertaining. But you know, I definitely, you know, give you my reasons as to why I decided to go to law school. And you know, in a nutshell, it's basically not only, you know, for regards to the legalese with, within the contract, but also to look out for the up and coming cats. I feel like when I was coming up in the game, I didn't get taught the way that I thought I should have got taught by, or should I say, my attorneys weren't always looking working in my best interest.
Yeah.
You know, at one foot in, one foot out, meaning they had relationships with the record company. You know what I'm saying? As well as, or should have been working on my behalf as well. But when you're playing both sides of the fence, that's kind of a conflict of interest. So my whole goal and mission was to not only understand it for myself, but to understand it for those that are coming behind me. And who better than to guide you than somebody that has been in the game, not only now as an attorney, but also as an artist. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that was my whole mission with regards to going to law school and then, getting my Juris Doctorate and now, being an attorney.
Oh, okay. Now, with that being said, is there because there's a lot of independent artists going to be listening to the podcast? Is there any some advice that you'd like to give on that, other than what you just said, or just to add on to it? Just
Oh, absolutely, man. Read your contract, and not only read your contract for yourself, but if you don't understand legalese, which most of you will not, at least get somebody in there that is an entertainment attorney that is working on your behalf and working best interest. And I emphasize that because my first attorney, when I actually signed my deal with Boston Universal, I had an attorney, but he wasn't an entertainment attorney. So there were a lot of things, a lot of legalese inside of that contract that kind of went over his head.
Mm.
There were certain things that you probably now that I've gone through the process of going through law school, there's some basic contract terms that you're going to or taking contract, or should I say take the contract in law school. It gets more in depth to talk about signing an artist and a standard contract. It gets more in depth, and unless you go through that experience or you read contracts before, you wouldn't know whether you are an attorney or you're an artist that has seen enough of these contracts, unless you're an entertainment attorney and you know exactly what these contracts entail. So I would say read the contract for yourself. Make sure that you have an entertainment attorney that understands these kind of contracts first and foremost, and make sure that attorney is working in your best interest. There aren't any conflicting interests, meaning there are a lot of times that a record label may want to suggest, or your manager wants to suggest an attorney for you. There's still a conflict of interest because you have that works for you. You have the record label that is someone that's going to be negotiating. You need an attorney that's going to be 100% about you as an artist. Period.
Oh yes. Hey, artists, you hear that, man? You take take note of that. Get an entertainment attorney to check your stuff.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, and working in your best interest. Absolutely.
Oh yes. Now, who did you work with creatively on this project? Who did some of the beats? You got any guests on there? Who are you working with?
Actually, we kept everything in house. We have producers on this record. And we have a couple of features that people may know. On a song called Pro Bono, we have my band P-Diddy, who also produced another track on the album. He did the scratches on Pro Bono, and like I said, he did, which I'm in the process of.
Hold on, Tracey. Hold on.
For people that don't know, he did a lot of work for JD as far as being an engineer. He just engineered Common's latest work, but he's a DJ as well, and and now that's kind of butter along with still engineering. So he's bringing work DJing and things like that. We got a couple. Trailmatic, my man Trailmatic up in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. He has a couple of tracks on the album. My production partner Blinks produced a couple of tracks on the album myself. Who else is on here? We have features by Eric Roberson, probably the #1 R&B independent artist in the world. He's on a couple of tracks. Algebra Blessed, who's also an R&B artist, she's on a track as well. Beeswax, the cat out of Ohio, now in Vegas, he did a couple of bangers on the album. He also sings as well, so people be on the lookout for him. Who else is on this record? A production team, my man Leslie and his wife MC out of London, out of the UK. They worked on the track as well. So we're kind of diverse on this joint. You know, we're kind of diverse. We got a lot of up and coming producers on this joint. We were looking for, you know, just a different sound. You know what I'm saying? And when I mean different is really, you know, taking it back. And I hate to be cliche about it, you know, taking it back. It's not really taking it back. It's moving forward, but we've adopted some of the things or some of the music that we grew up off of, you know what I mean, and implemented it into a 2014 format, you know.
Yeah.
So the people will love it, man.
Yeah, I got you, like that traditional boom bap sound, but it's more progressive at the same time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
Now with that, are you now I know this project is done, but how can like beat makers go about submitting tracks to you, or do you, or it's pretty much you keep it with it? You pretty much look yourself.
I mean, I've been fortunate enough to have people that are in my circle just from my travels and you know, just being in this game for so long that, you know, I've come across a million producers and for this particular project and another project that I want to release probably 12 months after this one, you know, I was, you know, pretty much blessed enough to just go inside of my circles and reach back and get some of those, you know, get some of that flavor that I know that they had that just hasn't been exploited, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, I might as well go ahead and jump on a couple of your joints and let's make it happen. But with that being said, you know, anybody that's doing any kind of production, they can always reach out to me at www.left, spelled with 2 L's, LLEFTENT.com, and submit your tracks through him. I mean, through the web. I mean, not the website. Through the. No, that's the website. I'm glad I plugged that. Or you can hit me on info at LLEFTENT.com. That's how you can submit tracks.
Oh, okay. And as far as features, you charging for features right now, or you know, or
yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, I think one of the things that and I have to be cautious about this. Yes, I am charging for features to answer the question, but I want to be able to give my full attention to this project because people haven't heard from me in 17 years. You know what I'm saying? I mean, for the most part, you know what I mean? There are people in the inner circle that know that I got, you know, tracks and all of that stuff and have heard some stuff that I keep, you know, in the vault. But because I've been going for so long, I'm going to concentrate on, you know, trying to get this out, promote it, market it the best way that I can. So I'm kind of holding back on, you know, doing anything on the outside. But once, you know, I get this thing up and running, yes, you know what I mean? Anybody that needs a feature from Tracey Lee, let's have it. Let's make it happen, you know?
Definitely, because there's a lot of artists listening there. I know they're going to want to know about that, too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh yeah. Now let's dip into the past right quick. I want to ask you, it's because there's a lot of people that you worked with back then that I haven't heard from again. You know, but one of the names actually has still been relevant. I mean, well, everybody's, you know, relevant. I guess is just the scale of it, you know. But D-Dot, you still work with D-Dot, or how's your relationship with that?
D-Dot, yes. We haven't worked musically probably in the last 3-4 years, but we still, you know, chop it up on the phone. You know, that's my guy first. That's my man first. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, our relationship was built off of a friendship. You know what I'm saying? As far as the music relationship was built off of friendship first. So, you know, we chop it up on the phone a lot, but he has his hands full with, you know, a lot of the things that are currently going on. Like, I know he's working on a spinoff, like he's in the behind the scenes executive production aspect of a spinoff for Stevie J from Love and Hip Hop.
Yeah.
He's getting his own show and all that stuff. So he's still doing some production work for people that are out there right now. Me and him haven't, you know, collaborated in a couple of years, but stay tuned. You know what I'm saying? That could be something that we've sat down and we've talked about it. It's conflicting schedules and things like that have prevented us from actually doing it. But he's doing well, man.
Oh yes. Because I think one of the last things I heard you on after like the stuff I heard independently was that with the Mad Rapper joint.
Oh yeah. A lot of people don't know about that record right there. A lot of people. That was the joint with me and Mace on it.
Yeah. That's what's happening. That joint. Yeah. And he also
say this, like whenever me and Dot do, get together creatively and artistically, man, it's always magic with us. So that's why I say it's almost inevitable that we, sooner or later we'll get back in the lab together and create something crazy.
Oh yes. I hope so too. Now you did a joint on the live from the 214 because some of those joints leaked. It was a joint I heard called "Go Ahead." Did he do that or who did that?
A cat by the name of Charlemagne. He was in the production stable, under D-Dot's production stable at that particular time. And Charlemagne, incredible producer, man. He's out there on Twitter, in the Twitter universe. He had hit me up, I want to say a couple of months ago, because he couldn't find a copy of the record. Keep everything, you know what I'm saying? Like, I got damn near everything that I've made since I was in college, you know what I'm saying? There's still a couple of joints out there that I need to find, but I happen to have a record that he was looking for, so I hit him up, sent it to him or whatever. But yeah, I always thought that record was banging. You know what I mean? He did a hell of a job on the production on that,
Yeah, I was like, man, I was ready for that album after I heard that single. Like that, man. It's unfortunate that Universal didn't. I mean, they dropped the ball with you. I think,
it's a numbers game, and I used to point fingers at everybody else back then, but I kind of point the finger at, I do point the finger at myself, but it's kind of like a blessing in disguise. That was around the time Nelly and Cash Money came through, and they came through with a machine, whereas, my management situation was a straight. So because my manager's situation was a straight, that means that the communication between my camp and the powers that be up at Universal weren't always together. So if Universal sees, or should I say a record company sees something like that, then they're more inclined not to really be as supportive about what you're doing as they are with I guess in that particular time it was Nelly and Cash Money and the camp and the hype that they brought to the table. So I kind of got pushed to the side. Whereas hindsight looking, I could have had my camp a lot tighter. You know what I'm saying? The communication could have been a lot better. And I'm not taking Universal off the hook. Don't get it twisted. But I just don't think that I did my part 100%. You know what I mean? So
yeah. Now you were what's his name? By Storm Entertainment. Mark Pitts, correct?
Right.
Now what happened between you and Mark Pitts, or?
At that time, we released Many Faces, and then Mark, his imprint, so to speak, Universal let Mark go. You know what I'm saying? Or should I say, wasn't trying to support that imprint anymore. But I think they had the option to keep me. You know what I mean? So I wound up staying on Universal, whereas Mark took his imprint and moved to LaFace. Yeah. And so he brought out a couple acts on LaFace. I think now Mark is under the Sony BMG umbrella. I think Bob Storm is under that umbrella. And I want to say, but they manage J. Cole and what's the R&B singer? The dude that jumped off the stage and kicked somebody in the face.
Miguel.
By accident. Huh?
Miguel.
Yeah, Miguel. Yeah. Miguel's on that label, and so is Molly Music. Molly Music is under Bob Storm as well.
Oh, okay.
And I think they're being distributed through Sony and BMG. So Mark Pitts is still, in the game. I mean, fully in the game. Oh, okay. But our situation, we parted ways based on Universal getting rid of Bob Storm and them keeping me. So Mark didn't really have a vested interest in my second project, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I didn't realize that until later, you know what I mean? Because I was still shouting out Bob Storm, and contractually I still think there were some ties, but he wasn't fully vested in it because, again, Bob Storm was off to LaFace at that particular time, and I was under Universal. But I haven't talked to Mark in years, you know what I mean? But, you know, he's a cool brother, real good brother. I went to college with him. I went to college with Puff, so that's how we all met, you know. So he's a good dude, man. I wish him well. Definitely.
Some other acts I want to ask right quick. The Crew.
Yeah.
What happened to the Crew? Because that was another crew. I felt like they were on Def Jam, I believe, and
the Crew, yeah. I haven't talked or seen Yogi and I forget my
Chatty-O.
Yeah. Yogi's child, Chatty-O,
yeah.
I haven't seen those dudes in years. I know Yo was an executive somewhere. I know that.
Didn't he? He hooked up with Bad Boy for a little bit, right? And because he was behind that G-Dep joint.
Yeah, exactly. And even after that, I want to say he's still in the game a little something. Now, Chatty-O, I haven't heard from him in years.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that was the Blunts and Bakakimi joint that I was on, man. That was an underground gem right there. Very few people didn't know about that record, so I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite joints on the album. I mean, the one you was. Yeah, it was. Man, that album, I feel like Def Jam didn't push that right neither. Like,
nah, not at all.
Yeah, because because it was your joint, Miniface, and the Dirty 30, the Crew joint. I kept that was like, it was refreshing because everybody else was on that kind of like that wannabe Mobb Deep kind of like style, and you guys came like, you guys had lyrics, but you guys also was kind of fun with it too, you know.
Yeah, and that, you know, that's the element, like really, because that's the hip hop that I know. That's the culture that I grew up in. You know what I'm saying? That's how it was. You know what I mean? And you know, I understand things evolve and change and all this other stuff over time, but you're going back to a time where it's still embraced. And I think when we came out, that's when you saw a transition starting to happen, you know what I'm saying? And it didn't fully blow into what we know what it is, into what we think hip-hop is now, until like 2000. But, you know, it started to evolve around that time, but I think groups like, you know, the Crew and myself, we still embraced, you know, the culture for what it was and what it is and what it was when we grew up, you know what I'm saying, off of it, you know what I mean? So.
Hold on one more time, all right?